Hey, hey, hey. Sorry, I'm having to do this on my phone, so you're going to have to bear with me. Hey, Nigel. Hello, Boo. How you doing? Right, you're going to have to bear with me for a second. Hey, Anne. I'm just finishing setting up because I was going to do it on my laptop and I can't work out how to use it. So, they've changed it somehow. Hey, David. So I'm just going to... Kamei, you right? I'm just going to go onto my YouTube on the computer and watch myself live so I can see what you're saying on the screen, because then I can actually read it, because when it comes up on the phone I can't read it. So 1 minute, go share and let people know that I am live for a second. Just bear with me. Because you know me, technology, come on, me and technology, not a good thing. I am not very good with it at all. So I am going to be running between the phone and the laptop, because that is going to be the best way for me to do it. I know my limitations. I could have spent the next hour trying to work it out and I wouldn't have got there. I'm technologically crap. So I'm going to be talking to the phone. So come over this way with me. And I'm going to be reading from the laptop. But it means if I have to go and do any quick searches, then I can do it on the laptop quite easily. Get off there. So I'm streaming from the conservatory of my mum's. Got Zerps behind me, but I don't know whether you can see. But Zerps, she's actually laying on, it should be 4 eggs, but I snuck one out, so she's laying on 3 eggs at the moment, which is quite annoying because she gets quite what's the word, possessive over the eggs. So every now and then she'll come out and be really, really, really nice to me, you know, get lots of kisses, and she sits on me, and then the next minute she's got her wings spread and she's chasing me away from the cage. So it's yeah. Thank you, Joshua. How you doing? How goes things over there? It's this is going to be interesting. I've not done it this way before. So because there's no lights in the conservatory, I've got to try and do this in a different way. But at least I'm streaming. That's the main thing. And I'm streaming in landscape. Wow. Billy, how you doing, honey? Right, so who we got? Patsy, hey. Hey, Patsy. Justin, you're right. Basically what we've got is, just for those that have just come in, I am doing my best to do some streaming because I can't work out how to stream from the new live dashboard on YouTube. So I'm going to have to find a different way of doing it. But I remember how to live stream from my phone. And now that I've got my 1,000 followers, thank you very much, people, I can actually stream from my phone. So, so yeah, I've been gone for quite a while. I didn't feel comfortable streaming. I moved in with my mum after I sold my house, and I was only expecting to be here for a short while. And basically, I thought that I could just stop live streaming and just do like 5 minutes in the car every now and then if something took my fancy. and basically just keep in touch with you that way. But it hasn't quite worked out like that. The person isn't out of my house now, and because of the lockdown, she's not going to be out anytime soon. So it means that I've got to make the best of the situation. Actually, thank him up there for the opportunity. I'm quite happy to be staying with my mum through this. I think possibly even if I'd been in the other house, I would have probably come and hunkered down with my mum during these times, because I'm the one that's going out doing the shopping for her and my uncle and that. And yeah, and it's nice to have company when you are locked up. Even though my mum lives on her own, I live on my own, and we're used to it. You know, I like isolation. I quite like it, and I like to have my own space around me, my own bits and pieces. So that but I just wasn't comfortable to start with, and now it looks like I'm going to be here for the long haul. Thanks, Tony. That it's one of those things where, you know, I've got to start again. I miss coming on, and I miss chatting, and you know me, I like to chat shit and everything like that. And with everything that's going on, I think sometimes having like a positive spin on things that isn't necessarily just talking about XRP and cryptocurrency. Angie, I get ya. You know what? It's been an absolute privilege. You know, I've had my arm deep in the drains today, just doing the spring clean. We started doing the spring clean on the house, and I'm actually working from home. So Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, I'm sitting on my computer. But we've had such great weather. I don't know whether you can see. I'm burnt. I've been out sunbathing today. So what I've been doing is going out from 9, or working from 9 till 1, and then going out in the garden for a couple of hours, and then coming back in and doing a couple of hours in the evening instead once the sun's go down. And it's meant that Zerps has come out, and it's difficult to let her out in the bedroom because obviously she can't wear a nappy. So I let her out in the conservatory, but I can't sit out here during the day while it's light as a rule. So it's been quite nice. So we've reconnected as well. Bill, you're held up in Cali. So, right, let's do a roll call. Whereabouts are people in the world right now? Bronze boo-boo. You know, whereabouts are you? Are you under lockdown or not under lockdown? Obviously, Bill, you're holed up in Cali, so I take it that you are under wraps to stay home. Are you working? Are you able to work? I mean, is this... I've spoken to some people that basically they've lost their jobs, which is a really bad thing, obviously. And it's one of those things where, you know, if we can, we need to pull together to help people out. I know that we haven't had any price action yet, but you know, those that can help those that haven't, and it would be a really good thing if we could get something going for the community. Came's in Maryland, mandatory lockdown. Wolves. Oh, well, Nigel, you're in the UK, aren't you? Lockdown. Chinatown baby. Or Cheetown. Let's have a look. So you know what we're up to, still working hard, keeping the food industry up. Yeah, Tony Favell and what do you call yourself now? Bull? You are... Who let the bulls out? Basically, they're still working. They're still working nights. They're working really hard, and they're delivering food. So, you know, we clap for the NHS. Join me for all the people that are keeping open the stores, who are still delivering the food, who are still in, you know, farming and making sure that the food production keeps on going, because these are the unsung heroes. Everybody that's still working. Every time I see the bin men, every time I see the... Yes, Anne, everybody Every time I see the bin men, every time I see the postman, you know, I thank them for continuing to work, because if they didn't, then the whole ecosystem would just fall over. I mean, we're on Friday now. Last night, 8 o'clock. Every week, we come out 8 o'clock on a Thursday night, and we stand outside our doors and we clap for the NHS. And it just so happens that the lady next door, she, bless her, she's bedridden with multiple sclerosis. So she has carers come in a couple of times a day, I think 3 times a day. And her evening carer comes to put her to bed from her chair at 8 o'clock. So she turns up as we're clapping, and we all turn around and clap her. And every single week, more people come out and more people are taking part. We've got one of the people in the road works at the bakery, and they're staying open and still baking necessities. Not the cakes, but the breads. So what they've done is they've put a thing for everybody's door, and you can order your bread. So you're able to order bread, and they bring it to your door, and it's less than £2 for a loaf of bread. So they're not making money. They're not making a lot of money at all, but they're still making sure that people are able to. So you're getting fresh bread. I go out once a week, and I go shopping, and I phone some of the neighbours that can't get out. There's a couple of different neighbours here that need to hunker down and stay safe. So, you know, if one person's going out, then I offer it out to everyone, you know. And as I'm driving up the road, people are sitting outside their front doors talking to their neighbours. I stop, I ask them. They know that I'm going out once a week. They can ask me if they want. It's one of those situations where, you know, we're all in this together, and the more that we can do, I personally think we need to look at the silver lining side of everything that's going on, and we'll go into that in a minute. But the silver lining on everything that's going on is it's bringing back community massively, right? We are all talking to our neighbours. We're making sure that each other are safe, that nobody needs for anything. You know, if the neighbours next door didn't get their bread, we had spare bread, we've given that to them. I'm going to go around the road and say to them, right, here's my number. If you message me, I'll add you, and we can have a WhatsApp group going. And I will set up a WhatsApp group for the road, so that if someone turns around and says, shit, I've got no sugar left, then somebody could say, right, I'll leave you a bag outside the door because I've got extra. I'll buy more, you know, replace it when you get your shopping in. Because it's about 3 weeks to get about 3 weeks to get an order delivered, unless you're one of the at-risk people, in which case you're getting priority. So if you don't want to leave, you've got to put your orders in, your food orders 3 weeks in advance of when you're going to need it, which is fine once you've caught up. But in the meantime, you've got to get out for things like milk and bread and all the consumables that don't last. And it's not that I've got a big heart. It's just that whenever you talk, or whenever I talk about what I want to do once we moon, and this is from the heart, I always talk about using some of my money to bring back community. Now, he has heard me, because what are we doing? We're bringing back community. It's a terrible situation that we're in, and I don't underplay the coronavirus, because it is killing people. But we've got to look at the positives, and we've got to raise the vibration of the earth, because at the moment people are too scared. Anyone that watched my my interview with the XRP Army, Scott, amazing man, he basically, you know, we were talking, and we're of the same thoughts. We just want to make sure that people are okay, and we've got to find the best way of doing it. And I see that throughout. Whenever you talk to anybody in the space, you know, you've got the Good Souls group, you've got the zoo, you've got, you know, all the different groups that are going round, and you've got the people, you know, Brad Kimes, you know, oh God, when I have to think about it, Eddie, Crypto Eddie, you know, all the big YouTubers, DAI. I mean, everybody's talking about, you know, helping community. It does make you appreciate things more, Anne, and it's one of those things where I've always spoken about bringing back community, because I think that's something that's been sadly lost. yeah, everybody's starting to look out for each other. Everyone's actually starting to talk to their neighbours properly. We were quite unique down here, where my mum is, because it's a close. But when you've got people that can drive through one side of the road and go out the other end of the road, a lot of people don't actually manage to speak to or don't know their neighbours, or they just cross and wave and you know, and never actually stop to speak because you never have time. And what's the good thing about what's happening now? Even people that are working from home, you're having time. It's massive. It's massive. It's, you know, the pressure that I used to feel to get between one space and another and go to work and do a good job and put a bit extra in, because obviously if you put extra in, then you're a good employee. And you know, when it comes to bonus time, they remember that, hopefully. And you know, you put that little bit extra, and then you're rushing to get back so you can get something to eat, and then, you know, maybe you're live streaming, or maybe you've got people to call, or maybe you just want to go home and just shut the door and mong out in front of you know, some of the episodes of your favourite series or a film or whatever it is. But it's always, you know, I've got to get this done, got to get that done, then I can relax. I've got to do the washing, I've got to do the cleaning, I've got to do the shopping, and then I can relax. You know, it's, but now, I mean, basically, I get up, I set my alarm for 10 to 9 in the morning. At 10 to 9, my alarm goes off. I wake up. Generally, I've been awake from 6, and then I go back and snooze around about 8 o'clock for the last half an hour or so. And and then I switch my laptop on, and by the time it's spooled up, and I sign into my Teams and my email and my back office system, and I'm ready to work. And you know, 9 o'clock, I'm sitting, I've got a cup of coffee, I'm in my bed, I've got my laptop on the little shelf trolley thing that I've got over the bed, and I'm working away. That's it, me done. You know, and I'm there till 12, 1 o'clock. You know, I'll get up in the meantime, I'll go and brush my teeth, wash my face, make another coffee, come back in, get some breakfast, wash that up, come back in, do some more work. You know, if it's sunny outside, then I'll come out here in my bikini, spend some time with Zerps, you know, catch a bit of sun, and then round about, you know, 4 o'clock, or if it gets too hot in here, round about 4 o'clock, I shifty back into the house, and then I'll work till 7 o'clock or something like that. And it's taken the pressure off. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but you know, I'm keeping in touch with people, so I'm working smarter, and I'm doing my hours. Crypto Mike, welcome. Hey, honey. So I'm doing my hours, but I'm working smart on my hours. So I'm getting the work done. There's no interruptions. Clients aren't phoning. I'm covering the phones from work. You know, I've had phone calls at 7 o'clock at night. I'm still picking it up. I've had phone calls on a Saturday, still picking it up. Cynical Speculation says, I went to visit family and got locked down. I make something shout every other day, sprouting seeds and getting, oh, okay. And sprouting seeds and getting plugs ready for garden now, literally, as you listen. Yeah, and that's the other thing. There's a lot of people out in their gardens, and they're realising that there's going to be a little bit of a food shortage, you know, once everything catches up, and the manufacturing is still there. We're never going to be out of food. This isn't a scaremonger thing, so you've got to go and stock up. But what we're saying, what everybody's doing, is they're turning their flower beds into vegetable gardens, because the knock-on effect, logically, it makes sense. The knock-on effect of everything that's going to happen is that there's less people working. We've got work spaced out. You can't have the intensive work that, you know, the manufacturers do, the boxing, the packing, the, you know, the stuff. You've got the automated stuff that can keep on going, but you still got to have a human at the other end to put it. Good one, Josh. But the whole point is that there's going to be a reduction in the amount of food that's going to be available, and it means that we're going to be eating differently for a little while they catch up. We can't have imports, you know. If the thing is, with the EU, we weren't able to source outside, so and we were actively discouraged from growing our own food in this country. So the farmers were paid to lay fallow. And that's another reason why the farmers were so heavy about coming out of the EU, because they wanted to choose their own crops. They wanted to choose what they planted. They wanted to be, yeah, they wanted to do their own thing. But you know, the farmers were paid to intensely farm their land for the stupidest things, like up in Essex, around where I was, they were doing rapeseed. But year after year after year, and I watched year in, year out, the crops got smaller and smaller and smaller, because they were told what they were paid to farm that land, that specific land. They didn't leave it fallow. You have to leave the land after a certain amount of time so the nutrients can go back in. And you're supposed to swap them around because different veg takes different nutrients at different times out of the earth. So they were really frustrated, and they managed to do. But you know, knock-on effect is that it's going to take a few years for us to get back to, hey Egg Bettina, it's going to take a few years for us to get back to the normality. So what can you do to help yourself? I personally, I quite like the dry food. We've got something called Key Diet, KWE Diet food, and to be perfectly honest, I've been stockpiling that. It lasts forever. It's shakes and dried food. It's got things like spaghetti bolognese. It's all vegan. Or no, it's all vegetarian, but it's got things like burgers, spaghetti bolognese, and all that sort of stuff. So 4 of those a day, whatever ones, pick and choose. You know, you've got your pancakes for your breakfast, you've got your shake for your lunch, you've got your spag bowl or your cottage pie for your dinner, and then you've got a pudding you can have afterwards if that's what you choose. But 4 of those a day is 100% of your daily nutrition. If we have a severe shortage of food, I'm fine, right? I've got enough. I've bought my sister some. She's stockpiled some. My uncle's got some. You know, and this is things you can do for yourself. You don't have to get that stuff. You can go and get those massive, great big canister things of protein. You know, and if you have to do 1 or 2 meals a day on that to keep yourself going, if things get tight, then that's the way it needs to be. It's just, you know, if we're smart about things, there never has to be a lack. We might not like the food that we have to eat for a little while. You know, you know, this winter, I'm pretty sure that this winter having fresh vegetables might be a bit sparse. But you know, come next spring, we are going to be buying from our local farm shops, because they're going to be kitted up for doing it. You know, the farm shops, the meat, you know, all of the things that we at the moment outsource, we're going to have to bring back in. They've got to do it. You know, we can't import food if you can't travel. You know, you can't go to and take your crops in if you've got nobody to do it. You know, so logically you have to think forward and you have to think practically, and I think that's a really good thing to do. Bill, meat. So yeah, so from that point of view, you can do, it's little things you can do to help yourself. That's all it is. But it's not a panic, and there's nothing that we need to do. And I honestly believe this has been well overdue. It's a shame it's come this way, and it's a real shame that it's happened the way that it has. But it's one of those things where we just got to hunker down and do the best of it, and make sure that nobody goes hungry, and make sure that everybody is safe. And you do that, and by the end of it, oh my God, what a country, individually, what country we're going to have. The UK is going to be amazing, America's going to be amazing, Norway's going to be amazing. You know, everywhere is going to be amazing, because you will have reconnected with the people in your country, right? And you will have reconnected with people in your community. And that is something that the powers that be have been actively discouraging for a very long time, by the way that they make us live. And we live in a frantic pace. You know, it's you got people that have to have 2 or 3 jobs. No zombies, Billy. No. Yeah, people have to have 2 jobs in order to just survive, and things need to change. This, I honestly hope, I really do hope that basically that this financial reset is going to mean that money needs to be reset completely. You know, this way of living is not sustainable, because all you're doing is you're making it so that you have a massive divide between the people that have and the people that have not. Now at the moment, the people that have not are benefiting the most, and I love that. I actually love that. You know, Trump is sending out money to families, right? There are going to be people that fall through the cracks, and that needs to be sewn up, and hopefully as time goes on they will. But you know, years away from digital assets going to the moon, I don't think it's going to be years. I think we're going to have a bull run. I think that that there will be an increase that we will be able to use. I don't think that the mooning aspect of it is going to come in until the regulation is done. Once regulation's in and you can put your pension into it, oh my god. You know, I had this conversation with Scott from XRP Army. Basically, once, if you've got 1.5, is it gazillion pounds worth of money is in investments, and if you can put 1 to 2% into a portfolio, then you can increase the returns on that portfolio, if run properly, to about 20%, just by using cryptocurrency being run properly by people who, traders are going to be like gold dust. If you want to have a future job that's going to pay you a lot of money, learn to trade, because there are going to be institutions who are going to be crying out for cryptocurrency traders, and it's coming. I mean, there's no two ways about it. The IFAs, America won't adopt the metric system, stubborn as fuck. Well, you know, if you do, you don't. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. It's one of those things. But the whole point of this is that once cryptocurrency comes in, it's a new asset class, and as a new asset class, it's going to have a knock-on effect of investments going in. So I've been calling for the volatility to come back. Hey YP, I've been praying for volatility to come back to the markets, because at the moment it's flat. Connor says we need a new type of bartering system once we go digital. Yeah, Joshua, you're amazing at the charts. You are somebody who you know, hone that skill. You're brilliant at doing it, but hone that skill and you'll make a lot of money. You really will. It's trading is going to be the new yuppie. You remember the yuppies? You know, your crypto trading is going to be the new trading floor at Wall Street. You know, it's going to be huge, huge. IFAs, independent financial advisors, whatever you call them, is the new king of Wall Street. Yes, it will be, Connor. Honestly, you know, once this comes in and people see the benefit and see the possibility. Joshua, you're good at trading, so you know, split your differences between the bread making and the bread making and the gardening, and do the trading, because the people that do trading, YP, you want a job for life. You watch what goes on once the regulation comes in and they start looking for people who can trade. If you've got trading skills, so people sitting at home doing online trades in their underwear are the future. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Of course it is. Devon Steve. It's one of those things where you have to look where the trend's going to go, and then you look for the benefits that you can bring to it. Sorry, thirsty. Think about it this way. Regulation comes in. You can put your pension or investments into cryptocurrency. Nobody knows what cryptocurrency is. Advisors across the board are denying that cryptocurrency is even going to be a thing, right? You've got the places like Fidelity and Backed and Prudential. SW principle is the same as traditional though. Yeah, but it's more specific cryptocurrency. It's the same but not the same. It's a different dynamic, and at the moment it's one of those things that if you can actually put yourself out there to be good at what you do, and you can go and hone those skills, and you can use those skills for the future. Love for Crypto Scotty, basically he's been talking about, you know, how can you bring ILP and blockchain into what you do. You know, think it's something that you love, that's something that you love to do, and then can you apply that for cryptocurrency or blockchain or ILP? And if you can, you're way in front of anybody else in that industry, far in advance of them. So basically what you can do is you can pick something you love, focus in on how you can use the latest technology to make it better. XRP Hilton, hey boo, I see you were in Mr. Level Up live stream the other night. What are your views on him saying all-time high within 83 days? I hope so, but I'm you know, be lovely, wouldn't it? But I wouldn't absolutely guarantee it. SW, yeah, okay. So what you're saying is that anybody doing cryptocurrency trading at the moment can do it on the normal trades as well, stocks and shares. If that's the way it works, that's the way it works. I have always been led to believe by people that the cryptocurrency trading is slightly different. So Stan Lee, you ain't got a clue. You all said that COVID-19 was a hoax. I actually never said that it was a hoax. What I said was it's a flu. And it is a flu. And I've been proven right. It is a flu. I also said it wasn't as bad as what people were saying. And funnily enough, they've actually reduced down that their death toll from the COVID-19 is less than 10% of what they originally said. So proven right on that one as well. And I turned around and said that people need to question, right? Question everything. So question why when Trump comes up with the name of a drug that everybody goes against it. The mainstream media, some of the Democrats, you know, banning it in their areas, in their whatever the constituencies are called over there. Why would they do that? Right? It's a proven drug as it is anyway, so it's already out there. So why are people slamming it and trying to put people off from using it? And then you've got other doctors that don't actually hit the mainstream that are saying, well, I'm using it and I'm getting a good response from that. Question everything. Everything needs to be questioned. Stocks, FX, crypto all have varying levels of volatility when it comes to trading. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Bill says, what I think would be nice is if the traditional market merged with the crypto market so you could trade anything in the same space. That's coming. That's what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about. And people that are using a trading crypto at the moment can take those skills and offer them to people when it comes into the mainstream. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's because people who are trading stocks and shares are experts in stocks and shares. But I still think that the crypto market needs to have an area of expertise of its own. You can already. Can already, what, just trade? Yeah, I understand what you're saying with the Fibonacci and all that sort of stuff, you know, I get that, but people don't understand crypto. So if you can trade crypto and explain it, Funny, I like you more than Rob Fart, to be honest. Cheers, Dan. I quite like Rob Art. Joshua says crypto was more volatile, but now stocks are just as bad. Good. Lots of stocks had massive gains, rebounds, and call options are giving ridiculous gains. Absolutely, absolutely, and that's something that hasn't happened in a really long time. A strategy that works for one asset class won't necessarily work on another, and that's what also I'm saying. But also, it's the understanding. A lot of brokers offer crypto and traditional trading. I don't know any IFAs or advisors at all that even entertain the thought of crypto. And I've been talking to advisors every time. It's probably why I didn't get so many jobs. Every time I was going for an interview, I was talking to them about crypto, and they had no clue. Absolutely no clue whatsoever about crypto and what was going to happen. You can trade it all on MT4. Never heard of it. But the yeah, I mean the point is that basically it's going to be an asset class. So if you can actually, if you can I don't know, like Scott says, and what Scott says is you know, pick something that you like, pick a passion that you have. If you can apply a blockchain solution to it, then basically what you're going to do is you're going to be able to use that passion to start a business of your own. YP says, I'll be honest with everybody, this staying at home thing we're having is a blessing. Not working sucks, but the family time I'm getting has been amazing. And that's what I've said. That's what I said earlier. You know, you've got to look at the silver linings to everything. And the silver lining to this is that you've taken, it's almost like, I don't know if anybody else feels it, it's almost like the energy of the air has just calmed down. It's calmed down. It's taken a chill pill of its own. All charts that have human involvement can be traded as they all act the same. It's psychology of humans that can be traded. Boo. No matter the asset class, fear and greed is the driver and be traded. Funny, scored this financial advisor in Barclays. It's yeah, do you know what, YP? You know, you always have to look at the silver lining, otherwise you just bring yourself down. Tina Hall, I almost hate to admit this, but I'm loving quarantine. Do you know what? I spent the very first week or two raging against it because it was making me slow down, and I'm not used to that. And usually when I slow down, I get ill. And I was terrified that I'd get ill, and I didn't. And now I've eased into a gentler way of working, and it's made such a difference on me, on my stress levels, on my attitude, on my spirituality. It's made a massive difference on my spirituality. Devon Steve says, news tonight, they're testing some drugs on the market now to see if they help with it. Nightingale Hospital to go up in Exeter soon. YP Schwartz, Mrs. Devon and I can only wish we could be home. It's a pestilence, read your Bible. That is what I'm going to go into. Stanley, you've got it. YP says, pre-virus, no one has time for their families because we're all too busy. And then we have this, find a positive from every negative. Keep life simple. It's more enjoyable. Absolutely. You got it spot on. And that is what I'm preaching. Hallelujah. You know, it's the spirituality thing. Come back to that. It's, I think it was Wednesday night or Tuesday night. There was I shared it out on Twitter. There was, it was like a mass meditation. It was at 3:45 in the morning, 3:45 a.m. here in the UK. And I set my alarm, and me and my friend both jumped in on it. And we could feel, it's almost like the whole, when you meditate and you go in and then you push yourself out to the universe, and hopefully you send out some healing power from, you know, from yourself, and then you pull in. Hi, Chris. And you pull it in, and then you push it out to the universe to try and help to heal. And when you do that, you touch on other people's energies, because we're all doing it at the same time. And basically what when I touched the energy, or I felt connected, not touched, connected to the energy, it's almost like the air was vibrating. And I don't know how spiritual people are or anything like that. I do Reiki. I'm a Reiki master, but I'm not a practitioner. It just enabled me to be able to direct my energy in a better way, because that's what I wanted to do. And I don't know, it was awesome. It was awesome to be able to, and it was such a privilege to be able to connect to the universe. Yes, Connor. And it was one of those things where I actually felt connected and very spiritual. So don't talk to me about eating. I've put on a stone. But basically what I did was I started to go looking. Oh, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? Okay, I've found End of Days. I found Revelations. I found Nostradamus. Now there's a guy out there, and I truly believe that he is a prophet of Nostradamus, because his name's Naughty Beaver. And if you go to the very first two videos that he put up, the first one was all about the visitations that we've had, and then the second one was all about the Nostradamus prophecies. And he's linking all of the prophecies, right, from Nostradamus, but he's linking it to the Bible. He's actually using the Bible as the template. And basically what he's doing is he's gone into Revelations, and he's turned around and said, we're at the cusp, right? We're literally at Naughty Beaver. Yeah, I know, sounds weird. But if you look at a picture of Nostradamus from his book, him sitting at the book where he's writing, and there's like a hand holding the book, and when you look at it, it actually is the paw of a beaver, which is why he calls himself Naughty Beaver, which sort of makes sense. But yeah, it's all about the prophet, and the prophet is that they've got a scar on his left hand side, and he showed a picture of himself, and he has actually got a scar on the left. And he doesn't want to do this. He actually doesn't want to do this. He's every time he tries to not do the announcements, then, you know, something bad happens, and good things happen when he's doing the announcements. So he's turned around and said, you know, he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to be in it, but he does, because he has to. They're not giving him any choice. Devon Steve says, sent some healing years ago when Jupiter was getting hit with those large meteorites. There was lots up and down the country doing the same damage, not as bad as expected. I know, right? We were supposed to have a hosepipe ban, because they said in the January that we weren't expecting a lot of rain that year, and that we were going to end up with a hosepipe ban. And everyone started praying for rain, and then it rained the whole summer, right? Talk about careful what you wish for. You know, that mass connection that people do when they pray out to the universe. It doesn't matter whether you believe in God or not. That energy that you expand when you send out to the universe comes back full tenfold. You know, it's and they say it, you know, you ask it, ask, believe, receive. You ask the universe for it, you put some energy behind it and some emotion behind it, and it comes back to you. And that's good or bad. The universe doesn't know whether it's good or bad, right? It just does what you want. So if you are putting out an energy where you're absolutely petrified about catching something, or something happening to you, or, you know, I don't know. For example, you're scared you're not going to be able to make the mortgage money this month, next month, or scared that you're going to be, you're not going to have enough money to pay the mortgage. Guess what? You start praying because you're scared that you're not going to have enough money to pay the mortgage. At some point in the future, you're not going to have enough money to pay the mortgage. You need to go from a feeling of surplus. You need to have a thankful acceptance of what is coming, because what is coming is going to be exactly what you want. And if you live your life through that, then that is exactly what's going to happen. I done it here. You know, I got stuck with my mum. Right? I moved in with I couldn't understand. Everywhere I went, every avenue I tried to do, I tried to rent a flat for 6 months and I ended up not passing that. I had money sitting in my bank account and I didn't pass the credit check. And I'm like, for God's sake, why? You know, and then they said, well, actually your wages doesn't cover. You've got to do 65% of your wages needs to cover the rent. And I went, but I'll give you the 6 months up front. What's your problem? No, you can't afford it. I mean, come on. You want a guarantor? I'm 51 years old. I don't need a fucking guarantor. Thank you very much. Ridiculous. Anyway, so I didn't get my flat. So the flat fell through and I was literally like, shit, what do I do? I've got to move out of my house in 3 days. I fell through on the day that I was going down to pick the keys up. And so I had to move in with my mum quick, which meant that the stuff that I had that was supposed to be going into flat then had to go into storage. Long story short, I ended up moving in with my mum, and she didn't move out when she was supposed to in my other house that I was moving into a couple of months hence. So she refused to. I gave her a 2 months notice. At the end of the 2 months, she didn't leave. 34. I love you. She didn't leave, so then I've got to start court case to get her evicted, because that's what she said that she needs for the council to house her. So I said, right, I'll do that. Then she turned nasty and wouldn't let me in the house to have anything done. And I'm sitting here and I'm frustrated like hell. And I can't wait to, the eviction order to come through. And then what happens? We're locked down. They're not allowed to evict anybody in this period. So technically I'm still homeless and on the street. Which technically I am, because I don't physically live anywhere. It's a really weird feeling. And all my stuff's in storage. I've got a suitcase that I'm living out of. I'm staying at my mum's. I go up to my sister's. I come back to my uncle's. And then the lockdown happens and I just so happen I'm here. And then I get the court thing through and basically I'm not going to be moving in for any time soon. I'll bet you could, Chris, but that's illegal. But look at the silver lining. Look at the silver lining. I mean, everything happens for a reason. I spent all that time so pissed off about how the universe was treating me, and actually it was doing me a favour. So it's one of those things that, you just got to look at the bigger picture. And I was saying about that with the virus. What if I can't see that the virus is actually as bad as what they're saying, because as many people aren't dying as what they said. It's terrible that people are dying, don't get me wrong. I'm in lockdown for 12 weeks. I'm a chronic asthmatic, so I'm absolutely petrified, because if I get it, I die. So a couple of things happened. I'm watching YouTube videos of people who are taking videos of their local hospitals, emergency rooms, and they're empty. Got people who are like sitting outside the hospitals and it's quiet. You've got hospitals that are furloughing. You're welcome, Anne. You've got hospitals that are furloughing their staff because there's not enough work to keep them in work. You've got something that's not yet proven, but something that is showing really good success rates being used on people that have got it quite badly. So you've sort of technically got a cure there. which they're doing double-blind clinical trials on right now. And then that versus this vaccine that's been brought out by Bill Gates, that they want to vaccinate the world, but they've got to have a certificate or wear a armband to say that you've been vaccinated, and that opens the world up to you. But they haven't done the double-blind clinical trial on the vaccine yet. So they're talking about this vaccine that's going to come out that everyone has to have. Mandatory. Not me. I'm not having no vaccine. Thank you very much. You know, I don't care what they say. That's I choose not to have the flu jabs. It's you know, I don't have any jabs. So it's one of those things where I question everything, and I don't take away the virus is there and it is really bad. But I also don't believe the numbers that they're telling us, and I don't believe that they are telling us the truth. Yeah, Chris, Bill Gates can't even stop the viruses on Windows. But basically, you know, I question everything, and nothing actually makes sense. And I've been saying this from the start. You know, question everything. Why did they lock us down so quickly? Why did they react so well? That quinine and zinc, Tina, I could play you, but I can't play you because I'm on the phone. There's a doctor, I've actually shared it on Twitter actually, and he is raging, right, because he's turned around and said that quinine, buy the quinine helps. Get yourself some tonic water. You check the tonic water and make sure there's quinine in it. Most tonic water has quinine. Tesco's, all their tonic water has quinine in it. Schweppes. So he's saying, get yourself some Schweppes tonic water. Make sure there's quinine in it. Get yourself some tonic water. But also, like you say, there, zinc. High levels of zinc. You wouldn't want to take the high levels of zinc that they have to give you in hospital to help with it. But if you've got zinc in the body, it's going to help. When this virus first came out, the first thing I did was I sent off for vitamin C with zinc and copper. Quinine is malaria therapy, and malaria drug is what's showing to be promising against the virus. I have no idea how to say that, Chris, but you know, how about it? I've got no idea. But yeah, so basically there's things that you can do, and I've said all the way through, vitamin C and zinc. I had no idea that zinc was going to be so effective, but vitamin C and zinc, because zinc, if you've got a cold and you take vitamin C and zinc, it's actually really good for you. Vitamin C helps to kickstart the immune system. I take treble. I take treble the dosage for the vitamin C with zinc and copper every single morning without fail. And so far, fingers crossed, you know, it hasn't. I haven't had it, and I'm not intending on having it, and I won't. Grocery store worker here fell out in the parking lot. She made it to the hospital and died there, kind of similar to China. Wow, how bad is that? But the thing is, yeah, it's funny how people follow the news, and fear-mongering is unbelievable. People are like sheep to the media without doing the research. Kiwi has lots of vitamin C in it. Yeah, absolutely, and it's delicious. In order to take the amount of vitamin C that I want to take, I'd have to have a bag of oranges per day, which means I'd have to go out all the time. But it's, you know, if you're feeling ill, then don't take any chances. Get straight down and ask for that malaria drug. And I mean, I drink gin and tonic daily now. What an excuse. Because, you know, tonic water is good for you. You've got to add the gin in to make it viable. How? But yeah, it's all about looking after yourself and making sure that you're doing the best that you can. And when I was talking about sort of end of days, there's two things I'm waiting on. And the first one is there's supposed to be 2 witnesses. If it follows through, there's 2 witnesses who are going to tell us truths that we don't want to hear. I didn't think I needed an excuse for gin and tonic. Well, no, but it makes me feel better. Gin for the taste. Yeah, 2 witnesses. Now, that would be 2 people coming up and telling us some truths that we don't want to hear. Well, what if that is telling us about the elites and what they've been doing behind the scenes? I'm hearing an awful lot about children being trafficked. And what's Trump been doing? He has been stopping the trafficking coming in from Mexico. So the wall is actually helping to stop some of the trafficking on that side of it. And basically, the other thing he's been doing is limiting, you know, people coming in and making sure it's followed through. So ICE has been doing their job against the Democrats' screams of racial stuff and everything like that. And I firmly believe, I've said all the way through, I mean, we've got a problem where kids, why Pete? See you later, honey. Love you too, babe. Yeah, so, you know, we've got a massive problem in and I think it's not just the UK, hey Notorious, where basically kids are being taken away from their parents. We've got scandals coming out from children's homes where they were badly interfered with by priests. We've got horrendous stories of children being interfered with in care homes and things like that. And it's really difficult to swallow that, to know that people are out there doing that and getting away with it. So what if some of the truths that we're going to hear is how much of a pandemic that this has actually become a scourge on the earth? You know, I've yet to see the proof, and I'm really not sure whether it is or isn't. And I have this argument with RTB all the time. He just thinks that I believe everything, and you know, I've been brainwashed to believe all this stuff. But I'm just open to other things that maybe other people aren't open to. And I honestly believe that the less than 1% that actually run this world, and they do run the world. I mean, there's no 2 ways about it. There's 6 families that run 80% of our media. Now, that's not right. You know, we've got something called a competition, a monopoly. Yes, it has Berthold, but you know, it needs to stop. And we're no longer sheeples. We're no longer, if we don't want to be, we're no longer allowing ourselves to be dumbed down. You know, we've opened our eyes to some of the stuff that's going on, and we're not going to put up with it. It's, you know, the Q movement has highlighted quite badly how terrible the situation actually is. And you can take everything from Corey Feldman, Mel Gibson, talking about the raping of children in Hollywood. Then you've got the whistleblowers. You know, there's Melanie Shaw in the UK, who was a whistleblower, and she was used and abused as a child by politicians in Westminster. And she's been shut up. You know, she's currently in prison. They found a way to put her away, the same way as they found a way to put Tommy Robinson away. And I think they broke her. I don't think she's coming out anytime soon. There is a movement, but you don't hear about it, about freeing her and giving her back her kids, her life, her husband. But she was verbal. She went up against the establishment, and no one. Set your stop losses, everyone. Craig Wright's about to dump. you know, you've got people, they don't, Deb and Steve don't understand these types of people. They know the damage it does to the kids. They don't care. This is my point. They don't care. These people are so entitled that they want what they want, how they want, when they want it, and be damned with the consequences to the people. I mean, there's one lad that came out and he basically turned around and said that he was taken by, again, politicians, and they thought they'd killed him and they dumped him, and he played dead and he managed to get away, but you don't see any of that. And he's named them. I can't remember the two politicians that it was, but he named them, and nothing happened. Nobody believes him. They say that he's a druggy kid, and I'm talking kid, 12 years old, something like that. But that's what they do. They use drugs on these kids so they become not believable. They make the whole system so that they're protected, so they don't care. There's nothing, they've got no recourse on what they're doing. It's not even real. They literally get away with murder. Bertolt says, I have to be honest, a bit sceptical about the Q movement, but I also do not trust government. I think the Q movement, I think it's part and part. I think some of it's right, some of it's wrong. You throw enough shit out and it's going to stick. But I think he's, I don't think he's one person. I think he's a movement. I mean, if we have 3 days of darkness, the little bit of scandal we find out about is just tip of the iceberg. Yeah, absolutely. I think if we go to our 3 days of darkness, I think we're going to find out an awful lot of stuff that there's a lot of people out there whose heads are going to explode, because they will not believe that people can do that. Showed a German government document from 2013 saying that this lockdown could go on for 3 years. Yeah, possibility. They're using this to try and take away our rights. I saw the feedback from the WHO, where they basically turned around and said, right, well, you know, everyone's locked down into their places and this virus isn't stopping. So we're going to have to come into your homes and take away people for your own good. Why? And I put that straight out on Twitter. Why? Because if you're at home and you're on lockdown, and you've been on lockdown, we've been on lockdown for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It all merges into each other. Couple of weeks, right? So if I had the virus, then my mum's been exposed to it already. If you've got the virus in your house, your household has been exposed to it already. So why do they need to come in and take people out of your home? Yeah, I believe you, Chris. Honestly. That's a lot of money. But we've got a dump coming in. I mean, everybody knows we've got a crypto dump coming in. Everybody's been saying about, you know, $4,000 Bitcoin. As soon as they forcefully remove you from your house, the chance of survival decreases dramatically. Crypto Justin. Okay, let's go there. If what I hear is true, right, and they have had major military operations going on, where they've been going down into these underground cities, because basically what the elite's been doing is they've been building themselves underground bunkers to go to, because if it's true, if it's not true, don't know. But apparently if Clinton got in, then basically she was going to make sure that there was a nuclear war within 2 months of her becoming the president, which is why Putin basically turned around and said that there would be war if Hillary got in, right? So this is where all this started. So Trump has been playing a very, very careful game, and what he's doing is he's allowing these people to hang themselves. That Dr. Fauci, or whatever his name is, Fauci, that he has, You know, he actively argues in front of the cameras with this doctor. This doctor actually turned around and said, you can't go telling people about this drug because it's not had a double-blind clinical trial, but he's pushing this vaccine that hasn't had this trial, right? So that tells you exactly who he's working with. So he's not working for the people, he's working against the people. It just makes sense. But also at the same time, you've got the WHO turning around and saying to Trump, don't close the borders. Don't stop people coming in from China. You don't need to do that yet. But good job he did. And he didn't take their say-so on that one. And he's questioning them now. And he's turning and said, well, you said that. You told me not to do it. But I did it anyway. Good bloody job I did. So you're supposed to be the World Health Organization and we're supposed to listen to you. But you're giving out bad... Yeah, that doctor is Gates' best bud. You're giving out bad information. We're going to stop the funding because you can't be trusted no more. Right? Watch these things happen. Let me play advocate the devil here for a second. Digital wallets, XFIAT, CBDCs are coming. Cell phones will be used for wallets. Government want you to install Corona apps now. They will be able to track. Yeah. I mean, money's going to be traceable. But the good thing is, they'll be able to stop your access to your money. Yeah. But the good thing is, they can't take your money because it's traceable. This coin works both ways, right? So it's going to be traceable on every single person. I've got nothing to hide. They can trace it away. They can trace away to their heart's content. But it also means that it's traceable for them as well, for them individually, for them as a business person, and for them as a government. Right? Everything's going to be traceable. There's going to be people like Sam I Am out there following the money. Trust me. The payoffs and the backhanders and the things like that, not going to happen. So you're going to be able to trace back how the hell does what's her face? That's the head of the committee people, the one that ripped up standing behind Trump when he gave his statement. Ugh. Terrible woman. Anyway, whatever her name is. Basically, she has a $4 million mansion or something. How did she get that? She's just a politician, you know. So trace back the money. You're going to be able to trace the money back, and they don't want that. Trust me, they don't want that. Pelosi, that's the one. So. Everything follow the money. Where's the money? Once we get blockchain, once everything goes on blockchain, you're going to be able to follow the money. Their time is up. They have no idea. Yeah, that Nancy Pelosi, she's going to get stuffed because she's a nasty piece of work, that one. You know, I don't get it, right? In the UK, right, we've got three now. UKIP's gone, pretty much. But you've got three major parties. You've got Conservative, Labour, and then you've got the Lib Dems. Lib Dems are done, right? They got close, and then they shat all over their people. So, she's a cuddy runt. Yes, she is. But basically, it swings between Conservative and Labour, right? Sometimes there is a mismatch, and Conservative joined up with the Lib Dems to offset because they didn't get a vast majority, so they had to go against Labour. Last time we had to go with the Irish party to consolidate the position so that they had the majority. You know, so it's things that they have to do. You know, they have to take power. Somebody has to be in power. But if Conservatives get in, you don't see, well, you do actually, let me go the other way around. When Labour gets in, you don't see the Conservatives on the streets threatening all sorts, rioting or anything like that. But somehow, because Trump got in, you've got kids screaming in the streets, needing a safe space. They needed to have what was it? They needed to have a they needed to have, not sectioning, but oh shit, you throw me off, check, Chris. I haven't checked. They needed to have a time with a mental health person. So the words it just jumps out every now and then of my brain, and I just can't grab it. But yeah, so basically they needed to have that. So counselling, that's the word I was looking for. So, you know, why? Why would they need counselling? It's just, you know, the swing. Just because the Democrats didn't get in and Trump got in, you know, the Republicans got in. So is that such a bad thing? Politicians are getting 10k each to work from home to help pay for a laptop, electricity, heating, etc. But they get 2 houses anyway. That fucking drives me nuts, that does. It really does. What? Stop it. Sorry, just tapping on the side of the cage. But yeah, so you know, and I don't understand that. I mean, so a political party lost and a political party won. You know, you just vote and you do your best to get out there to get everybody to vote for your party after the 4 years are up. I mean, that's the way it works. You know, and if you're upset with one political party, you don't vote for them next time. You go and vote for a different political party. I actually think that we've got the best person in the job right now. Boris Johnson is amazing. I'm not too sure about whether he's part of the cabal because he was Eton based, or whether he actually is a patriot for the UK. Hey Tracy Lee. But it's one of those things where I think that he's done the best job that could have possibly been done. And I think that if Jeremy Corbyn had got in, we would have terrible situation right now. I think that the way that Trump's done it, the way that Boris has done it, I'm not sure about other countries around the world, but definitely America and UK have got it right. They're paying people to stay at home so that people can still pay their bills. And I'm hoping, against hope, that what it does mean is that eventually, they will help with a stimulus to get people back to work, and that while we're off and being kept safe, lots of things are going to happen behind the scenes. You know, if we have the 3 days of darkness, the 3 days of darkness could be the switch over for the new ILP web, the World Wide Web 2.0. You don't know. Just wish he could brush his hair. No, do you know what? I actually heard from somebody who knows him, and they said that facade that he uses, he has worked on that for years. He's actually a really intelligent person, but he likes to play the buffoon, right? So Dutch government is paying companies to help out too. Brilliant. Yeah, I think that's the way forward. I honestly do. It's a way of keeping people employed. I mean, I'm working. I'm working, so I'm working from home what I can. But I think that once this is lifted, you know, are we ever going to go back to the way that it was? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I think that the quality time that people have had, the relaxation of not having the stresses and strains of the normal day to day. I think that the way that we're having to shop, I think the way that we are going to have to shop will make us shop more smartly. I think that was going to have a knock-on effect, and that going forward, we are going to have a completely different attitude to everything. So we won't be working at 50,000 miles an hour. Yeah, the Prime Minister told you, yeah, never go back to the life you had before. No, and do you know what? I don't think we should. I actually don't think we should. I think that what we've got now is you've got family values come back, you've got community values come back, you've got that community spirit. We are less stressed. It's got to make a different vibration for the planet. The animals, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but we've seen a lot of like deer and wildlife. They're thriving. They're not being knocked down on the roads. There's less cars on the road, so there's less pollution. I don't know if anybody's noticed. And here's the thing, to put in your pipe and smoke it if you wanted to. I haven't seen any chemtrails. We've had bright blue skies. Usually we start off with bright blue sky and then you see the crisscross go over and it's cloudy by the end of the day or by the afternoon. So we've had really good sunshine. Yeah, we're healing the earth. But the whole point is that, oh, and here's a thing for you. I don't know where it is tonight, but the moon, here's something for you that's really weird. No flights, giving the planet a breather. Yeah, the moon was over there night after night after night, right? About 4 nights ago, it was over there. It came up over there, not over there. That's where it's supposed to come up. It came up over there. Mum and I looked at each other and went, what the fuck? What? Whoa. Mum went, well, maybe the earth's tilted a little bit more. I went, no, it doesn't work that way. Spooky, really spooky. But yeah, I mean, there's no point me getting the telescope out. There's too much light pollution around here. I swear I really miss my previous house, because when I lived in Essex, I lived in a village in the middle of nowhere, no light pollution. We didn't have pavements, didn't have street lights. You know, we had proper, I mean, you could walk out and navigate by the moon, because the moon and the stars were so bright that it used to throw a shadow, which was absolutely amazing. But it's literally, it's around here, there's no point. But that was really spooky. That freaked me right out. And that sent me looking at different things, which, is that when the brooms stood up on their own? No. No, this was an actual thing. Because Mum went, no, they're supposed to be over there. But it just makes you question. You know, nothing's ever really straightforward. I don't know whether it was just I don't know. Do you know what? I'm not even going to speculate, because I have no idea on that. That's just bizarre. But one thing I did learn is that most of the constellations are set. Yeah, that nice red colour. That's actually a sign of end of days, by the way. That that when you look at the constellations, you have to look at it from the eyes of the Sphinx to match the criteria that's set out on all these different projections. No, prophecies, right? So you take the prophecies. If you take the prophecies and look at the constellations from where the Sphinx is in Cairo, it all matches, right? So Revelations, Nostradamus, all from so basically Cairo, where the Sphinx is supposed to be the center of the world, right? So the center of the planet. And basically what they're saying is that, oh, you're so lucky, Tina. I will be once we move. That basically the earth is actually shifted and it's on the wrong axis. So we need to shift back at some point. But then there's the Hopi legends. I mean, Hopi people, they've been around since pre everyone. So they're the oldest race in the world. And their prophecies have been handed down from person to person to person. And they remember when the ship that changed the earth to put it on the axis it is now. So whether that's a metaphor, whether that's an actual thing, I've got no idea. but it's interesting stuff. Look it up, Hopi, H-O-P-I, the Hopi prophecy. That predates the Bible, but it has some pretty correlating information in there, which is quite nice. And as you can tell, I mean, I like to do lots of research. Native people's history secrets are key. End of days, hope not, before XRP moons. I don't think, I mean, end of days, I don't see it as the end of the world. I think it's the shift. We need to shift into Aquarius, because it's the age of the Aquarius, which is the age of spirituality. Because, and this is something that I found out from Naughty Beaver, the age of spirituality is the age of Aquarius, because that's when you got like Pisces, Aquarius, all that sort of stuff. So the second coming of God, of Jesus, is supposed to happen in the age of the Aquarius. And we are in the 7-year tribulation, and we are in, I think it's year 5. We've got another 2 years to go. So, you know, got a couple of years before the witnesses arrive, and the second coming is supposed to happen, and that I mean, I'm not religious as such. I believe in God. Obviously, I've died, so I know that there is something else. But I don't believe in churches. I don't believe in a religion in any way, shape or form, because when you get up there, they don't ask you what religion you are. Honestly, it's just not there. And why would there? You know, you are who you are. When you're of an ethereal spirit, why on earth would they be asking what your husk of a body did? You know, it's spirit. It's to do with intention and emotion. But that's for another day. I'm going to be sitting down with Scotty on that one for Love for Crypto, and we're going to love to hear that story about dying. Oh. All right, 15 people in the room. Anyone that hasn't actually clicked thumbs up, go and click a thumb up for me. Okay, I'm asthmatic. I'm a really, really strong asthmatic, severe chronic. I had the breathing of a 90-year-old when I was in my 20s, and I knew I was going to die young. Thank you, whoever that was. So basically, I've always had problems with my breathing. So I've always suffered with asthma attacks, with chest infections. My lungs are shot. I was told when I was 20 something that basically I needed to go and buy myself a nebulizer. There was no more inhalers that they could give me strong enough to help, because I needed to, the next step was to go and get myself a nebulizer and carry it around with me, take it 3 times a day. And I knew that if I did that, then I would be dead before I was 30. So fast forward a few years, it was 2010. Yeah, April the 6th, 2010. And I'd had a bit of a chest infection, and it was cold. It had been snowing, and I started getting really wheezy. I had my sister there with the kids. We took the dogs for a walk over the green, and I started getting really wheezy. So we got back, and I turned and I said to her, I said, look, I'm going to go upstairs for a little bit. For some reason, it's not easing off. I'm going to take my inhalers a little bit. So I took my inhalers, and I got under the steam. I did steam, and then I got a can of Coke, and I drank the can of Coke, because fat Coke is good for people who are having asthma attacks. Something in the Coke itself that helps with the relaxing. So I did the Coke, and I did the steam, and I took the inhalers, and I kept taking the inhalers, and I'd gone through a whole inhaler. And I'm like, wow, okay. So I put my head out the window. I thought maybe a bit cold. That didn't help. So I turned around to my sister. I said, do me a favour. I said, just call me an ambulance, but don't say anything to the kids. So they took the dogs for a walk, and she called me an ambulance. And by then I was quite bad. So they come in and gave me a couple of nebulizers. So I'm all building up to this. So still wasn't helping my breathing at all. And I was a big girl then. I was a lot bigger than what I am now. Bear me one moment. I just need to go and get my power pack because my phone's just about to die. Stay there. You're more than welcome, darling. Love you. We just don't spend the whole money on Easter eggs. Sorry, guys. Phone literally is just about to die. Right, so you still here? Wow. Okay, thank you. Let me just plug this in. No. Oh, go away. Right. Hopefully that works. If I go down to 10% in a minute, then I'll have to try something else. Right, so I think Nibiru is basically, it's a herald. I think it's a herald to something big. It's been here before, 5,000 years ago, was it? Some people are saying it doesn't exist, but Russians come out and told their people about it. Anyway, digress. So basically, yeah, so set the scene, really bad, tried everything, ambulance people with me, and they turned and said, we're going to have to take you to hospital. So I said, all right then. We tried to get down the stairs, it took me half an hour to get down the stairs, I couldn't breathe. I should have just sort of bumped it down there. Anyway, so we got to the bottom of the stairs, and they had this chair there, and they tried to strap me into the chair, stupidly, and then tip me backwards. And when they tipped me backwards, it cut my breath off. So I panicked. So then I'm standing, they had to let me go, and they're standing there, and I went, just wait a second. And I looked at my sister, and I just turned and said, I'm going to die. I'm actually going to die. And they went, no, don't be stupid, don't be stupid. And at that point, my throat just closed up completely. Couldn't breathe in, couldn't breathe out. And there's this moment of absolute peace. And I mean peace. I knew that I was going to die, and there was nothing that I could do. So I just literally just got really calm. And as I was passing out, obviously the tunnel vision goes down to nothing and everything, and I fell forward, and I fell in. My sister caught me actually, and then she said that they were working on me, and they couldn't find a vein, and they were trying to inject me with adrenaline and pumping and everything that goes with it. And they basically turned and said, because it was at the bottom of the stairs, which was a really narrow space, and they were like, oh, we need more room, we can't. And she went, well, just pick her up. And they went, no, we can't. And she hooked her arms under my arms and dragged me into the living room and laid me out, and I was blue by then. And they were working on me, and basically we'd find my boyfriend Steve before when the ambulance turned up, and he was coming back, and they turned around and said to her, look, you know, you're going to have to leave the room. So she was waiting outside, and the kids were coming back up from the walk, and she wouldn't allow them in the house, so they're all standing outside apparently. I didn't see any of this. And Steve's roared up, thrown the car on the front of the house, slammed into the house, and seen me blue on the floor. I was dead at that point. And they're still working on me, and they managed to get me back, and they said, right, we need to get her into hospital, big girl, he literally scooped me up, got me on the trolley thing, and they got me into the ambulance. And I remember coming back, and I was in the ambulance, and I've got this thing on my face, and and I'm trying to take this thing off my face. Let me go, let me go. I was talking to my nan. Let me go. You've got to let me. I haven't finished talking yet. Let me go, let me go. So I kept on pulling this thing off my face, and they kept putting it back on. And in the end, they turned around and said to Steve, just sit on her. So he literally pinned my arms down, and I died again, and in the ambulance. So so they managed to, they got me there. They got me from Dooton Hill to Broomfield Hospital. I think they did it. They said they'd done it in 11 minutes. Unheard of. Unheard of. You know, the ambulance driver, she saved my life, so, as did my sister. And so fast forward again, and I'm sitting down in a dark space. That's all I can say. It's pitch black, but it's a comfortable, and it's warm, and it's cozy, and it feels nice. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking up, and as I'm looking up, there's this, it's like at the bottom of a well, and you're looking up, and I could see everything in the room. And I could see these nurses and these doctors and things like that, and they're all working. And I'm sitting there, and I'm perfectly happy, just really calm, just watching them all running around, quite bemused about the whole thing. And they put this needle into my arm, and he literally put it in, and he stitched it in, and I recoiled. My body recoiled, and basically, because I recoiled, the doctor leant over me. Now my eyes are taped shut, but I could see. Don't ask me how. But he leant over me and he said, Lorna, you've been fighting for your breath for a very long time. We're really worried that you're going to run out of energy soon. So we're going to help you to sleep and help you to breathe for a while. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying, but that's what we're going to do. And basically, my nan was sitting by the side of me, and she leant over and she went, they're going to put you in a coma, and they're going to put you on a ventilator, and you are going to die. And I looked at her and I went, okay. She went, why do you want to die now? I was 41 years old, 10 years ago, 41 years old. Why do you want to die now? Haven't you got anything to live for? And I'm sitting there thinking, well, we've got Steve. And as soon as I thought of Steve, I thought, shit, I can't leave him. I can't leave Steve. And I went, no, I'm not ready. She went, I'll be here when you are, I'll be here waiting for you. So I was like, okay. She went, but you've got to go now. You've got to go now. And I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? She went, just start running. Just start running. So I started running. And it was like running through, and it sounds really weird, but it wasn't even like running, it was like swimming. But it was like swimming through jelly, but it was really hard, and it was really tough to actually physically just put, and it was like clawing your way through something that you couldn't see. And I literally, it was like I went from down there, and all of a sudden I'm in my body. And you know, I could feel the air around me, and I could feel the people bustling around, and I could feel again. So I put my arm up, and I grabbed this thing off my eye, just one eye, and pulled the mask off. And they went, no, you've got to put the mask back on. So I pulled this thing off my other eye, and I looked up, and I went, I'm all right now. I'm okay. And they went, no, you're not. No, you're not. And I went, I'm okay, honestly. I'm fine. So anyway, but from that point, I didn't remember until later what had gone on. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, but I'm okay. And they're like, no, you keep that thing on your face. So I'm like, yeah, okay. And I've looked down and I've got this gown on, and I was in a terrible state. They'd cut my clothes off me for a start, my favourite bloody jeans, and I was feeling quite embarrassed about the state that I was in, and so I was there, and he turned and said, right, well, we're not going to do anything with you yet. You seem to be compos mentis now, so we'll work with you and we'll reassess the situation in a little while. You know, how you feeling? I feel fine. So there was this man sitting at the end of, well, not sitting at the end of my bed, standing at the end of my bed, but he was dressed in a suit, and he had his back up against the wall and his foot up against the wall, and he was there just staring at me, and I didn't take much notice of him, but I was feeling a bit conscious of him just watching me. I thought he was there too, because sometimes they leave somebody with you, so I just thought he was one of those. No, sorry, Chris. But I didn't realise at that time. I didn't actually realise at that time how close I'd got, because I didn't remember until later, and it was just I was just like, because I was full of chock full of like nebulizers and adrenaline and everything, and it was just, I didn't know what to think. But anyway, so there was this guy down there, and I was like, wow, okay. So trying to shift around and cover myself properly and make myself, like, just trying to make myself look better. And then the doctor came back, and he looked at me, because I'd pulled myself up on the bed, stalked myself out, and he looked at me and he went, how are you feeling now? I went, yeah, I feel fine. Talking like this. Yeah, I feel fine. Yeah, I feel fine. Put this thing back on my face. I've actually got a picture of me. I was yellow. I didn't look fine either, but I felt fine. But basically, he when he did that, I looked down and the guy just put his leg down, and then he started to walk away. So I turned back to this doctor and I went, you don't need him anymore then? And he went, who? I went, the man. He went, what man? I said, the man that's been watching me. Don't need him anymore. And he went, there's been no man watching you. I was like, no, he was there. There was a man there. No, there wasn't. You must be mistaken. Anyway, didn't think anything of that until later. So then he came back, and basically he brought a load of doctors with him, and he said, right, take a look at that chart, now look at her. And the doctors looked at them and went, ooh, ah. And I'm like, what? And he went, you have no idea how seriously ill you were, have you? I went, but I feel fine now, it's fine. I'm ready to go home. And he laughed at me and he went, oh, you're not going home, love. He said, you're going up into the ward. We're just waiting for a bed for you. You're going up. And I started crying, because I actually wanted to just go home. I wanted a cuddle with Steve. And he was like, no, you're not going. So I went, is Steve here? And he went, I'll find, I'll send one of the nurses. So they got him in. Then he sat by the side of him and he went, thank fuck for that. And I went, what? He went, do you not know how ill you are? I said, yeah, the doctor just said. He said, the doctor went to him and he said, tell her now. He went, you died. You were blue. And I went, but I feel fine now. Why can't I just go home? He went, no. Trust me, no. You know, I didn't know. I mean, I'd aged 20 years. I was completely yellow, right? But I felt fine. And bless him. And he stuck with me after that for a while. And so basically then the ambulance person come in and he bought a trainer and a sock. And he went, I believe these are yours. So, well, thanks very much. I don't remember any of this. So, and he went, do you know what? For such a little person, because I'm only 5'4", for such a little person, he said, you're really bloody strong. He said, next time I tell you to do something, will you just bloody do it? And I went, what are you talking about? He said, you fought us. You fought us so badly. He Steve was 6'6". He had to lay on you to keep you still because you were fighting so badly. And I went, I don't remember it. Didn't remember it at the time. And that is my brush with death. So when I hear people who turn around and say, oh, you know, life's not worth living, or, you know, I just want to check out, or I feel like killing myself. And I'm like, wow, there's people out there that would do anything to live another day. There's people out there that want to live so badly and they can't. No, it wasn't COVID-19. This was 10 years ago. But it was a chest infection. Together with, and we think it was because we just moved into a new house and I had black mold. So I think the black mold actually had the equivalent of like an anaphylactic shock type thing against it. But they never found it. They never found what stopped it. I went for tests and tests and tests and they never did. But what it does is I'm in a constant attitude of gratitude. And that's the most amazing thing that I could ever say to people. That, you know, you're a long time dead. So make the most of what you've got. And if you're not happy with your life, change it. You know, don't conform to the parameters that you've set yourself that makes you feel so bad. It's so easy. It is so easy to physically change up something. And it's so, it sounds really bad, but you can walk away from your life easily to change so that you don't feel like you have to suffer or be in a bad place, or you pick somebody and you just turn and say, can I have some help, please? You know, I'm here. Anybody wants to talk, I've got the broadest shoulders in the world and I will help anyone and everyone. You know, if somebody's going through a bad time, I will ring you every day. I will be in contact. I will give you that hand, right? That hand. And there's people around you, I swear to God, who will see you suffering, that are desperate to help you, who maybe have tried to help you and you felt that you couldn't take it, or that you didn't want it, or that they couldn't help you. Because it's so bad, what you're going through is so bad, but what you need to understand is it's only bad because you allow it to be, and it's only terrible because you allow it to be. And being happy is a mindset. Thank you, Tina. I really am looking forward to meeting you, honey. In fact, I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone. But it's, you know, if you've got people that are in bad place, then just let them know they're not alone. That's the easiest thing to do. Berthold, it is that easy, right? It literally is that. It's a paradigm shift in the way that you think. It's using terminology in your everyday life. There's ways of, right, think of your brain as an AI computer, right? It's something that if you ask a question, you will always get an answer. Your brain will always give you an answer. It might not give it to you straight away, but you will get it eventually. So if you ask it a question, oh, why am I always skint, right? It will tell you you're always skint because you overspend on this, that you don't save enough, you maybe need to work more, da-da-dum, 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 da-da-dum. It will come up with all these different things, right? But if you, and that's a negative thing. That's a really negative thing because it's telling you what you haven't got, right? But if you ask your brain, how do I maximize the efficiency of the money that I do have and make it last better, or make it last longer, or how do I enable myself to live better? How do you know, and questions, open questions. Your brain will come back and go, well, actually, do you know what? You're paying for Sky, but you're doing the whole thing and paying for the sports. But in actual fact, you don't really watch it, do you? So you could save yourself £40 a month on that. That might be some money that you could spend elsewhere. Or it could be that easy that it comes back and says, do you know what? Go around your house and switch off all the plugs that you've got plugged in right now. And you wander around your house, you think, oh yeah, that's all plugged in, that's plugged in. That phone lead's plugged in. There's £60 a year for you. Having a phone plugged in, but not actually charging, that's 60 quid a year. Switching your TV off at night, if it allows you to. Some of them don't. You know, switching off your computer. There's making sure that when you leave a room, you turn the lights off. Or do what I do, go down and get your oh God, what they're called. Instead of having normal bulbs, you go and you have the, oh, what's it? Not lasers. The lights where you, they don't actually take much electricity. It's gone out my head. But the lights that I had in my place, you know, the colourful ones that I had them all around the house. But you can get the LED. Thanks, Bert Holt. LED lights, right? Cost pennies to run a week, right? Little things like that you can do, and that will give you that extra bit of savings. You have no idea how much money you can save doing just the littlest things, and that's just one thing that your brain would come up with. That's it. LED. Thank you. So basically, yeah, it's asking your brain the right questions. If you're in a really deep depression, Egg Bettina, and you're not able to think like that, I understand. It's not that easy. But what you can do is, if you're in a really deep depression and you hear someone like me talking, then what you can do is you can go and ask someone to do the thinking for you, right? You can go and turn around and say to someone, how do I feel better about myself? Help me to feel better about myself. Help me to feel better. Help me to be more positive. Do you know what? I surround myself with positive people, or I don't surround myself with no one. I have no interest in being around energy suckers, because those people, those negative black holes that you can surround yourself with, they will zap every bit of energy and they don't share it back, right? If I'm around somebody who's down, but genuinely is a genuine person, their energy will share what little energy they have. So I've got no problem. I'm like an unlimited battery, right? I've got no problem giving out energy to somebody who really, really needs it, and then bring them into a position where they can share back, right? That's simple to do, but I do not put myself anywhere near people. Neurological, yes. No, I get it. But you can change your way of thinking, right? Okay, because it's a break. Okay, do this with me, right? If you're really sad and you're really down and you're feeling really low, and you keep yourself really low, so you've got this attitude of negativeness. So what you do is you pull yourself in, and you're really closed as a person. So you literally you feel down, you're pulled down, you're negative, you have no thanks, Chris. You have no energy, you're very negative. Your brain actually can only focus on what's bad, right? How do you pull yourself out of that? Smile. When you smile, you can't feel negative. It's just impossible. So if you can find a way to make you smile, whatever makes you smile, and then hold on to that. Because that feeling when you smile, genuinely, whether it's something that makes you laugh that you will look on YouTube, whether it's somebody, if it's that feeling of looking at a bird outside the window, that wonderment that you can feel if you're standing in the middle of a field, you know, with bare feet and feeling the world go past, right? And then anchor it. Pick a finger, do it. Whatever that feeling is, do that. And just keep doing that. And keep hold of that feeling, right? And you do that time after time after time. and you've got that feeling. And what that does is it enables you to, at a later date when you're feeling low, you go like that, and all of a sudden you're feeling good. It's something that Tony Robbins teaches, and it's like it's a way of changing the brain, and teaching yourself really good, teaching yourself that you can snap your emotions, right? Because, for example, you've got, say you've lost a loved one, you're at a funeral, and everyone comes up and they tap you on the shoulder and squeeze your shoulder and say, really sorry for your loss, really sorry for your loss. That happens 30 times. Someone touches you on the shoulder and all of a sudden you're back there. You've got that feeling, that's anchored that feeling to that movement, right? So same thing goes the other way. What you can do is you can train your brain to anchor a good feeling to a certain thing. It could be that it's, I don't know, pulling on the ear, squeezing a finger, snapping your fingers, whatever it is. Anchor a good feeling to something and then use that as your go-to, right? So when you're feeling at your worst, snap yourself out of it. Whatever you need to do, whatever you've anchored. Now there's Tony Robbins does something called Unleash the Power Within, and it's a 30-day plan, and it's between 20 minutes and 45 minutes a day, right, for 30 days. Some of them are like the weekend work type thing, where you listen to neuro-linguistic programming. So it's got built-in messages, subliminal messages that help you to feel better. And when I'm feeling bad, then I go to bed listening to that, and I just have that on repeat, and I do it all night. You know, being a positive person, absolutely. You live for the moment because your time in this realm is short, but you live every day as if it's your last, so that you have that attitude of gratitude, but never expecting it to actually finish. But the Unleash the Power Within, what he does is he will take your brain apart, literally. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. He will take your brain apart and put it back together again. It is the most amazing program I've ever done, and I try and do it once a year, because every time I do it, I become a better person. Every time I do it, I go a little bit deeper into it. So it's like layers, it's like an onion, layers. And basically what it does is it teaches you to understand how your brain works. And once you start to understand how your brain works, then you can start to change it. And it shows you all the anchoring, it shows you all of the positive attitude side of things, how to talk to your brain. Your brain's an amazing thing. Your subconscious, oh my God, if you can get in touch with your subconscious, think about it this way. What if one of your core beliefs, one of your deep core beliefs, and most people don't know their core beliefs until they go through and work it out. So what if your deep core belief is that that money is evil, because you've been told money doesn't grow on trees. If you're rich, then you've had to stand on people's shoulders to get it. You know, money makes people do horrible things. You know, this stuff, this subliminal stuff that gets put into your head about actually having money. So what are you going to do when you've got money? You're going to get rid of it as quickly as possible. This is why people that win the lottery, they're bankrupt in 3 years, because they haven't managed to accept that their core belief needs to change. Which is why a lot of people that's expecting wealth, like we do, we talk an awful lot about being able to give back, helping family, you know, charitable work, making a difference, because that makes us feel better about getting this money. Neighbour is having a concert, got a scoot. Stay safe, everyone, and see you later. Just Stay safe. It was a spirit. Yes. Yes. The one that at the bottom of my bed. But the point is that what you can do is you can, once you know your core beliefs, if one of your core beliefs is that you're afraid of heights, if you're afraid of heights and you set your bucket list up, and your bucket list is you want to jump out of a plane, but you're afraid of heights, so your core belief is that heights are bad. So it doesn't matter how much you want to do that jump, right? How much it's on your bucket list. It might be at the top and you've done everything else. Your subconscious knows that you're afraid. And when you're afraid, that trumps the feeling of want. I know it has to do with changing the way you think and see yourself and changing the emotions that go with it. That's exactly it. So basically, what you do is you need to change that fear, because until the fear of not doing something overcomes the fear of doing something, then you will never get it done. And that's the same, or that's why you do. Remember at school, you used to leave your homework till the last day, the very last moment, and then you do it and you sit and think, oh shit, that wasn't so bad after all. Because the fear of actually doing it overcame the need to do it. But then when the fear of not doing it, not being able to put your homework in, overcame the fear of actually doing the homework, you did the homework. You know, and it's exactly the same. And it's one of those things that it's so key to understand your own brain. It really is. And I've just realised I've been talking for 2 hours. Oh my God, I am so sorry. I just didn't realise. The time just goes. I can talk all night. So, I think I've covered lots of different things. You want to swim with dolphins? I have. Chris, honestly, we needed that story today, inspirational. Thank you, Cami. Chris, we will actually swim with dolphins. Honestly, it's the most amazing thing in the world. Keep going, Boo, expecting the night to go quick. It's great. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for sticking around. There's 13 of you still on there. I mean, I had, I think, nearly 20 people in here at one point. So people have come and gone. But, you know, I've got 17 thumbs up, which is bloody fantastic. But I wasn't expecting to go for... like Flipper. Yeah, I didn't expect to go for 2 hours. I mean, come on. Do you know what, Justin? I am an open book. I always have been, I always will be. I get told off all the time, but, you know, for oversharing too much. But if there's something that's happened in my little life that can help to inspire or help somebody else, then happy days. Happy days. There's nothing you can't do. It's a state of mind. Change the state of mind, you can achieve anything. That is so true, Bull. So true. So I'm going to love you and leave you and wish you good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe. Drink that after lockdown drinks. Yeah. Ring setting for that long and gin yet. I love you too, Tina. Love you the way you are. Great chat. Stay safe. Good night. Right. Yes, people. I'm off to go and have a gin and tonic. Just do me a favour. Send off for some vitamin C with zinc. Preferably vitamin C, zinc, and what was the other one? Aspartame. Or drink the tonic water. But just honestly, anything that might even remotely help to keep you safe is worth every single penny. And if you can't afford it, get in touch with me. I will buy it for you because it is that important. And there's 12 people here that just heard that. So stay safe, people. I'll see you soon. And big up to all the key workers. Yep, absolutely. And I will say nighty night. Rum and coke for you, Chris. Gin and tonic for me, hun. Right, I'm going to go and watch the rest of the Doctor Who's. When am I back? Ugh. I don't know. When am I back? Hey, Notorious. You still here, Notorious? Wow. Wow. Okay. Nightbird, Holt, and thank you too. When am I back? How about a Sunday night stream? See if there's anything interesting that comes up for Sunday. Easter Sunday, how's that? Easter Sunday stream. Okay. Well, it's not wisdom, I'm just sharing what I've got, but you know, someone somewhere will take something from it at some point, so that's the main thing. Right, see you later, and hope to see you all soon. As love for crypto, I say peace.